Windbloom Festival is definitely one of the best Genshin Impact updates of all time. Though we only have 4 updates so far, it still set the bar for Genshin Impact updates to a much higher level. It seems like festival events reign superiority among all updates so far in the game. With the end of Genshin Impact's Windbloom Festival event, I think it's about time we make a comparison between the 2 festival events of Genshin Impact. Mondstadt's festival event or Liyue's Lantern Rite. Before we proceed, subscribe now. I demand you to subscribe. Why are you not subscribed yet? Why? Why are you not subscribed? Subscribe. Of course, we're gonna start off with the main focus of the event, and it's the story quests involved behind it. Yes, story quests. Including these things. Xiao's story quest has got to be one of the greatest story quests of all time. The way they portrayed Xiao's character as the last yaksha, who up to this day still doing the same dirty work he did in the past, was amazing. Venti and Zhongli are already retired and he's still going. It shows his job as a yaksha and his capability to endanger the people surrounding him. The story is mostly about preparing for the Lantern Rite Festival, and it also delved into Xiao's past and the showcase of his deceased fellow yaksha. Not to mention, we were introduced to a new boss. A boss that is so fearsome, thrilling, and nerve-wracking. A boss fight so intense we clenched into our seats just to leave a scratch. This dude. Xiao's story quest ended with goosebumps. We see Xiao witnessing the people's tribute to him and the sheer amount of lanterns being released into the night sky as we watched an Adepti hologram fly to the sky was breathtaking. The story quest of Lantern Rite Festival truly was a great experience and it deserves a solid 10. If only it didn't have these I honestly don't need to explain how frustrating these were. Like, seriously? We don't give a shit. Who am I to meddle in with your businesses? I literally saved your asses from a hydra, whoop the dragon's ass, and you asked me to put lanterns up your house? Bruh. It would have been fine if it weren't that many, but man. Going over Venti's story quest, it's rather simple and straight to the point. Ironically, the story isn't about Venti at all. Venti was just there to deliver the real story. The story of Mondstadt's people. You heard me right. This is Mondstadt's story quest and not Venti's. The fact that we had all of the characters from Mondstadt appear in this quest is enough evidence to convince you that it's Mondstadt's quest. Oh god, Lisa, please tap on. Anyway, it's still a sin for not giving us Klee, mihayo. I hate you, or we hate you. Hashtag boycott Genshin Impact. All jokes aside, the story focused on the people of Mondstadt. Every single quest showcases a different character. In part 1, we had Venti, Bennet, Barbara, Rosaria, Jean, and Lisa. In Story Quest 2, we had Kaeya reciting a Hilichurl's poetry. In Story Quest 3, we had Razor and Bennet. We had Sucrose. Oh my god, it's Sucrose! And at last, we had Dvalin. I'm still angry that they didn't put in Klee. Seriously, mihayo, why didn't you put your most expensive character in this event? The story mainly focused on Mondstadt's unity and how Venti works for the people, despite the festival being dedicated to him. You know what, Venti? I love you now. But you still got clapped by Mami Ulala Signora Supremacy. Nobody understands Ulala. The side quests weren't bad either. It certainly had its ups and downs, but it's not as frustrating as the other party. I made a poll in my community tab on what makes Windbloom Festival better than Lantern Rite Festival, and I was surprised to see how low the votes were on the rewards option. Not. I think it's safe to say that Lantern Rite Festival nails this part of the video as it evidently proves it in every aspect. But since I don't want to be biased, I'll try to defend Windbloom Festival events rewards as much as I can. Windbloom Festival gave us 3 items: a lyre, which is really cool, a balloon, which is a waste because it pops in like a short amount of time, and the Windbloom Ode Bow, which was criminally bad according to the Genshin Impact community. And also we had a few Primo Gems and we had KFC and all that stuff, so I guess you consider that a reward from the Windbloom Festival event. However, if you're just a new player to Genshin Impact and you have not the slightest clue on what I'm talking about this! Lantern Rite Festival certainly had boring side quests, but the fact that you get 30 Primo Gems per quest is still considered a win. They also doubled the rewards on Leyline Deposit. Not to mention, they literally gave away 3 Intertwined Fates. 10 Intertwined Fates. Do you know how much Primo Gems that is? 1,600 Primo Gems. They also gave you additional Primo Gems on the minigames and the main story. And do I even need to mention that they gave free 4-star characters? That's the reason I got my Ningguang. Lantern Rite Festival is without a doubt the most generous update Genshin Impact has released. Okay, this one is definitely the most challenging. Nah, the Windbloom Festival did it better. Okay, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but let's first take a look on what both parties had to offer. The Windbloom Festival had Osu, Minecraft Dropper, and Call of Duty shooting range. Also Peculiar Wonderland. Lantern Rite Festival had Plants vs Zombies. Now I ask you, which of the two delivered more in terms of minigames? If you're a normal human being who plays the game I previously mentioned in the Windbloom Festival's part, then I'm guessing you would prefer Windbloom Festival minigames over Lantern Rite's minigame. It's only understandable to pick the one who had more minigames that were already popular in the mainstream. However, if you were to ask me which was more fun, I would argue that Theater Mechanicus was the better minigame among all four. Allow me to further explain why. The Bullseye Balloon had you shooting balloons, which I'm pretty sure you mains had a lot of fun with. Not trying to complain about it, I do believe it's fun. However, all you're doing in that minigame is shooting targets. I play Minecraft and shooting with a multi-shot enchanting crossbow is probably just as fun as that minigame. Ballads of Breeze was certainly fun, especially doing it with the reckless ballad suffering in the background. I do have to say that it was too slow. But I suck at rhythm games anyway, so who am I to complain? Floral Freefall, how do you even say that? Floral Freefall was a pain in the ass. Genshin Impact's gliding event was definitely better than this. Among all these minigames, Peculiar Wonderland is the only minigame to actually stand a chance in a fair comparison. It felt like an obstacle course. Barrage Minuet, Bubble Speedster, and the Great Bubble Crash were like Hole in the Wall and Temple Run, where you have to dodge certain things. Shimmering Path and One-Way Traffic tested your navigating skills. You have to memorize the path before you walk across. The premise of Windbloom Blessing and No Landing were pretty much the same. Don't let flowers fall, or don't let yourself fall. Speaking of not letting yourself fall, Stone Stepping Antics is the same, wherein you have to step on the right platform before it collapses. Kinda reminds me of TNT Run in Minecraft actually. Truly, there's a lot of minigames within Peculiar Wonderland, but in a way, it was either too easy or easy to cheat. What I mean by this is that you can literally cheat the game using a certain character that you have. This video is an example of that. Bubble Speedster and Bubble Crash, Kaching, Xiao, Hutao, and Lollies. Shimmering Path, Archers, Kaching, Xiao, and Mona. One-Way Traffic, Xiao, Venti, Kaching, and a screen recorder if you really have a bad short-term memory. Windbloom Blessing, Venti. Don't Fall, Xiao. Stepping Stone Antics and Barge Minuet, Traveler. Literally 80% of these can be cheated using Xiao. Compared to the infamous Theater Mechanicus, it is absolutely fun and challenging. It took Genshin Impact's elemental mechanics and made it into a minigame. You strategize using the elements embedded into these towers to prevent monsters from getting in your base. It is also thrilling because you don't know if your defense can fend off the monsters that are about to invade you. Another fun thing about Theater Mechanicus is the fun you can have outside of the minigame. I can't emphasize this point enough in this video, which is why I recommend you to watch the video in the top right corner of your screen to get a better understanding of that point. Both events definitely delivered. Both events are also absolutely outstanding and fun. There's no doubt that these two events set the bar for Genshin Impact updates on a much larger scale. It doesn't have too much competition, and it focuses on working with other players rather than fighting other players, which emphasize on the point of the game being PvE. Both festivals have their ups and downs and equal aesthetics. In my opinion, Windbloom Festival was the better overall event since it caters to a much bigger audience. I did say that Theater Mechanicus was subjectively more fun, but it doesn't change the fact that Windbloom Festival had more minigames that tried out multiple game mechanics, which let other players outside Genshin Impact enjoy them even more. Comparing the two story quests may be comparing apples to oranges since each of them are covering different stories. The Lantern Rite Festival was Xiao's story quest, while Windbloom Festivals was the people of Mondstadt. Though it canonically makes sense that Xiao was alone and Venti wasn't, it's still about the enjoyment of people who played it. I personally prefer Windbloom because I got to see my favorite characters in a cutscene again. I watched them bond and have fun with each other. I got to see a side of them that we weren't able to see before. Like Bennet and Razor's friendship, the generosity of Lantern Rite Festival may have outdone Windbloom Festival, but the concept of what a reward is entirely subjective to its players. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to this channel and leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think? Which story quest had more impact towards you? Which minigames did you happen to enjoy the most? Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next episode.